just like everybody else, so it's not really anything crazy or groundbreaking. I don't have a hot take on the situation. I'm just falling in line with everybody else's hot take, which isn't really a hot take anymore because it's kind of obvious. Hello, Big Show nerds. It is what it is. I do apologize. I did have to take a personal day last Friday. There was some things in my personal life that needed more attention than the news show. I mean, once the network gets up and running, that won't be as much of a problem because when that happens, I will have a replacement. As it stands right now, though, I am a one-man band. So I apologize, but we do have news to talk about. We have plenty of news to talk about. Some of these pieces are going to be technically a little older because we didn't have an episode on Friday. That being said, I didn't put everything that would have been in Friday's episode on here. Otherwise, we'd be here for 2 hours. So again, we have some news to talk about. This is the Nerd News Headlines. I, as always, am Dustin, and coming up is an intro. Now, let's talk TV streaming. In TV streaming, we have two follow-ups. One of them is kind of huge. First up is not the huge one. It has to do with the Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut release date has been officially announced. It is going to be March 18th of 2021. So we are just about a month away from seeing the 4-hour Snyder Cut. So that's pretty freaking cool. Moving right along, our other follow-up is the larger one. This is Sandman. There have been some casting announcements. It has been it's kind of mostly unknowns-ish. You can find the full casting link in the description, but the interesting part here is that Gwendolyn Christie, aka Brienne of Tarth, has been cast as Lucifer. Now, for those of you who kind of know what's going on with Sandman, and there's a lot of us, Sandman is kind of sort of the same universe as Lucifer, the comic book. So the series on Netflix that started, I forget where, elsewhere, CBS maybe, the series that is now on Netflix that is in its final season is already based on that comic book series, and it already has its version of Lucifer cast. So why would they not go with that version of Lucifer? What's his name? Tom Ellis, right? Yes, Tom Ellis. Why would they not choose Tom Ellis to play the part that it is basically the same person? And Neil Gaiman has made a statement along those lines. And the statement is, and I'm quoting it here as much as I can, the statement is, the theology and cosmology of Lucifer is a long way from Sandman's. It's, quote, inspired by, unquote, Sandman, but you can't easily retrofit the Lucifer version to go back to Sandman. If you see what I mean. It seems easier and more fun to have the Sandman version of Lucifer be, well, the Sandman version, closer to the Sandman version of Lucifer, sorry, end quote. So, really, that's just Neil Gaiman saying, because I don't like how goofy Netflix or whoever the showrunners are have made Lucifer, it doesn't fit with my version of Sandman, so I'm going to do whatever the hell I want because it's mine. Basically is what that is. So interesting. I really want to see what Gwendolyn Christie can bring to the series. That being said, we're moving on. Next, we're talking about Netflix and Legendary Pictures teaming up for some anime series rather. The first two we're going to talk about are King Kong and Lara Croft. So this is potentially a confirmation of rumors because we talked about the potential for a Monarch series. That might be what this is. There's not a whole lot of news around this and no release date for either of these animes. So the Lara Croft one kind of came out of left field for me. I didn't see anything pointing in that direction beforehand, but there's no release date for that one yet either. The other project that they have, and this is one that we've kind of sort of been keeping tabs on, is the new Pacific Rim anime series called The Black called Pacific Rim: The Black. It just got its first release date and trailer March 4th of 2021. So we are about a month away from that. Moving right along, staying in a similar vein, we're talking about a new animated series called Sonic Prime. This one is going to be geared much younger. It is also, though, going to be on Netflix. This time Netflix teaming up with Sega, obviously. Wildbrain and Sega are going to be the production houses. Netflix is going to be the distribution, and the actual show running is going to be left up to Man of Action, which, if you remember, we got to interview the guys from Man of Action. So hopefully, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, you should be seeing a link somewhere in the top corner, wherever the link goes, where I got to talk to the guys over at Man of Action. It was a lot of fun a couple years ago at Dink, Denver, the underground comic book convention. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, they're going to be showrunners and executive producers. This is the same company that brought us Ben 10, that brought us Big Hero 6, the movie and the series. Also, some of these guys are the same guys who brought us the Wrestle Giants. No, what is it? Giant Hunter. I can't remember. The one about the little girl who has it was an amazing movie. Apparently the comic book, I have not read it, but apparently the comic book is fantastic. Joe Kelly is a fantastic writer. If you don't know Joe Kelly, then you don't know Deadpool. He is one of the guys over at Man of Action. Again, check the link there. I'll probably try and put it in the description as well to the interview that I did with those guys. Anyway, moving right along, we're talking now about Black Panther. There has been an official announcement that there is a Wakanda series coming to Disney Plus. So, Black Panther is getting developed into an actual series. The details as to how Ryan Coogler is going to be involved are a little fuzzy at this point. At the very least, he's going to be an executive producer. The Disney Plus made the announcement that they have signed a 5-year contract with Coogler in the series realm of things. So it's going to be series focused. He's going to be focusing on making series, but not just this series. It very specifically said he's going to be making multiple series with the company. So Coogler is involved. Don't know if he's going to be showrunning just yet. As this develops, we will be talking about it. Then we're talking about WandaVision, and part of this kind of should have been in rumors, but it's kind of also breaking news. So, breaking news, WandaVision had some footage leaks at the end of last week. Involving the next 2 episodes. It's not the entire episodes. The entire episodes did not leak, but a couple of minutes from each episode did leak onto the interwebs. I believe they were 2 separate Twitter videos, which Disney has since taken down, and there's a lot going on here. So the part that could have been rumor, because this is legit 100% happened, the part that should be kind of technically rumor is this might be affecting the release schedule for these 2 episodes. We might be getting 2 episodes of WandaVision this Friday instead of just the 1. But the other piece of this news is that Disney is taking legal action against the person who made the original post. Now, if you look hard enough, I did not, because I don't necessarily care about 2 minutes of a show I'm going to watch anyway. But if you look hard enough, it is the internet, so everything is up there forever. You can probably still go find this couple of minutes from each episode if you so desire. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of spoilery bits in the short amount of time that they have, but I mean, that is approximately 1% of the almost 10%, right? Math. So yeah, it's a fair-ish amount of each episode. So, I mean, we'll say it's about 5% of the episode, whatever. I can't math right now. Yeah, but if you want to go find it, it does exist on the internet. I didn't choose to do so because I don't care. I'm gonna watch it. I would rather watch it on the timeline that Feige deems appropriate, and not necessarily because a bunch of hackers decided they want to steal footage. As things develop here, as we know, hopefully by the next episode, we'll know exactly what this means for the release schedule. We will be updating you. That's all we have. We're moving on. Next, we're talking about Titans. This is a new casting announcement as well. Could have gone in follow-ups, but whatever. Titans Season 3 will, in fact, see a Tim Drake. Tim Drake has been cast. The actor in the role is Jay Lycurgo. I hope I'm saying that last name right, and I apologize if I am not. I didn't see anything of note in his biography. This will be basically, I mean, he technically kind of sort of is in the Matt Reeves Batman movie, but he's a background character at best, so that doesn't necessarily count. Either way, he's going to be Tim Drake. I'm interested to see what goes on here because Tim Drake is arguably the least the least interesting of all of the Bat family to a large extent, of all of the Robins at the very least. So very interested to see what they do with that. We're going to move on. Next, finally, we're talking about Dustin Diamond. Now, this one just happened a couple of days ago. This is technically a follow-up as well, but it was pretty big, so we're not just going to have it as an afterthought. Dustin Diamond, we did find out it was lung cancer that he had stage 4 cancer with. So it was lung cancer, and he lost his battle with cancer. It's been kind of a really interesting couple of weeks as far as passings go. Dustin Diamond, though, is the one we're going to recognize for the TV streaming section, and we're going to take a moment to remember Dustin Diamond. All right. That is, unfortunately, how we're going to be ending TV streaming. Moving into movie news. We have movie news. We only have 2 pieces. First up is kind of sort of a leak, but everyone's taking it as gospel. I see no reason to think it is not correct, so I'm putting it here instead of in rumors. The subtitle for the 4th Matrix movie is going to be Resurrections. There have been some cast and crew jackets that people have taken pictures of, and it's in the Matrix font, and so every reason to believe this is legit, which is why it's not going into the rumor section. So Matrix 4 is now going to be referred to as Matrix Resurrections. That is the only piece of follow-up news, and then we have another downer. We have the death of a comedic and a dramatic legend in Hollywood. Cloris Leachman, 94 years old, passed just this last week of natural causes. If you are unfamiliar with Cloris Leachman's body of work, you simply must go, just look her up. Basically anything she's in, TV-wise or movie-wise, is brilliant. Even if she's the only one that's brilliant, I've not seen anything that woman has done, including those stupid Friars roasters, the Comedy Central roasts now. Just, the woman was amazing. It was a big loss, but 94, she had a great run. So now we're going to take another moment and remember Cloris Leachman. And again, unfortunately, that is how we're ending the movie section. Now let's talk about the rumor mill. So before we get into rumors, we're going to get into some speculation. I am actually going to be correcting my speculation because of the developments of episode 4. Very interested to see what goes on, but I'm going to be walking my speculation back from the last speculation section in that I think now it's not Wanda being held captive. I think this is legitimately Wanda has gone crazy, just like everybody else, so it's not really anything crazy or groundbreaking. I don't have a hot take on the situation. I'm just falling in line with everybody else's hot take, which isn't really a hot take anymore because it's kind of obvious. Anyway, that is what we've got for speculation. Now let's go into the actual rumors. Rumor first is Kenobi. We are now seeing more rumors saying that Qui-Gon is going to be in the series, that Liam Neeson himself has in fact signed a contract, and we will be seeing an announcement along those lines sometime in the next month or so, which is very interesting. And they have not been specific with the rumors saying whether or not he's going to be coming back as a Force ghost or if he's going to be coming back in flashback scenes or what have you, maybe just as a voiceover. If he comes back as a Force ghost, though, mark my words, it's going to be a very big issue with the Star Wars community because let me see, what was the Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars series, he did come back as a quasi-Force ghost, but he did not come back as something you could see. You could not see Qui-Gon. You could only hear his voice because he did not finish the training of immortality. So he is only an essence, if you will. He is not a proper Force ghost. So if they do that, then they're going to be retconning some very big information in the Star Wars community, and I don't think the community is going to react very well to that. So, now we have to get in percentages. Percentage that we're going to see Qui-Gon in some respect. I honestly think it's going to be a flashback, so we're going to do this in 2 percentages. Flashback Qui-Gon, we're going to be saying about 90% likely we're going to see Qui-Gon in a flashback. Whether or not they bring Liam Neeson back for that is kind of up in the air, but they will use existing footage. They will use footage that didn't make it into the movie, something to the effect to bring Qui-Gon to a flashback scene. Sure, absolutely. I believe that is about 90% accurate. Qui-Gon as some sort of Force ghost, Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson coming back to do some sort of new footage or audio. I'll put that at about 70%. I think it's pretty likely, but we're not nearly as strong as the other one. So, yeah, there we go. Moving along, we're talking about Black Panther 2. We have another rumor. This one's from a bit more of a solid source. Another rumor saying that we will be seeing Killmonger return for Black Panther 2. There is, if you really are kind of grasping at straws, there is a couple of lines of dialogue in the first Black Panther movie that they could exploit to make this happen and make it make sense. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I think they can get away with it if this rumor is to be believed. At this point, I would not be surprised. However, I cannot say that there is a whole lot to back up this with evidence. So I'm going to, just because, again, things that we've talked about a number of times in this section, they are looking to fill as much content as possible. Also, Chadwick Boseman's passing kind of put them up between a rock and a hard place. So I'm going to put this up to a little bit above halfway there. We're going to say about 60% likely that we will be seeing Michael B. Jordan reprise his role as Killmonger. Next, we're talking about Doctor Who. This one's kind of brief, and there is not a whole lot to go either way. So I'm just going to, right off the bat, we're about 50-50 on this one. But the rumor is that Doctor Who might not be getting continued, at least not for a while. It could go for a number of years before we see another series of Doctor Who, a new Doctor, if you will. This one is rumor based on rumor, because there is a rumor that Jodie Whittaker is not going to be returning for another season of the series. I at first saw this as 100% fact, and then I kind of did a little bit more research and went, oh no, there has been no announcement along those lines. But there are a number of sources that are saying, yeah, her management team is saying, do not do this because you are the negative face of the Doctor Who franchise these days, whereas it once had a very large following. That following has dwindled, and they're saying that Jodie Whittaker is the face of that. So that is the main rumor, I guess, and the fallout rumor behind that is that we're not going to get Doctor Who for a while until they can kind of cleanse our palate of Jodie Whittaker, it would seem. So because this is rumor based on rumor, we can't go above 50%. There's no reason to believe one way or the other, so we're staying at 50%. Next, we're talking about Game of Thrones. Not to be outdone, HBO Max is also potentially going to be working on a new animated series it's going to be a prequel, presumably, for the Game of Thrones series, a more direct prequel, not the House of Dragons that we know we're getting, but something that will more directly lead into the series that came to an end just a couple years ago. It's potentially going to be based on Tales of Dunk and Egg, which is a small series of novellas that Martin put out, which see Duncan the Tall and a young Aegon Targaryen about 90 years prior to the events of the original series. HBO Max, desperate for content, that gives this a little bit more credence. Not a great source, but not a horrible source either, so we're putting this one right up 60%. Next, we're moving over to Walking Dead. This one, we've gotten a number of rumors in the past. They've been kind of variations of different rumors. This one says that we are going to get a specific Daryl, not a Daryl and Carol series, but a Daryl series that spins out of The Walking Dead. Very little details here. Not a great source. I honestly believe the Daryl and Carol series more than the Daryl solo series, so I'm going to put this one probably about 30%. He is one of the biggest characters in the show, but again, not the greatest source. We're moving on. Next, we're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. What with all of the crazy legal battles that have been going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, it's not out of the cards that we won't be seeing Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean to some degree. Now, the rumor does go on to say that it sounds like it will be some sort of cameo or walk-on role as Jack Sparrow, but not any sort of influential role into the story of the next Pirates movie. So that lends to its credence. Also, again, the fact that he has had a couple of smaller wins recently in that, Amber Heard now has to pay all of his legal fees, that also kind of lends to its credence because maybe Disney went, oh, we kind of jumped the gun on that one, didn't we? So all of that plays into the favor of this. We're going to put this one right about 65%, a little bit more likely than the other ones, but not a lot more likely. And also, that's partially my bias because I really don't think the series is going to work without Johnny Depp. But, there you go. Then Death Stranding. We're talking video game rumors now. Death Stranding is the next rumor. We're talking about an extended edition that has been rumored to be in the works. Very soon, we're supposed to be getting the announcement, according to the rumor, that we will be getting an extended edition. It will be a bunch more content, and it won't be DLC. It will be a brand new release that has the original game plus all of this extended edition content, geared specifically for next-gen consoles, though the rumor does say that it very likely will be released on next-gen and current-gen, or current-gen and previous-gen, depending on your take on the situation, consoles. So the fact that it does go into those kind of specifics is interesting. The source on this one is pretty solid. I believe this one was comicbook.com, actually. So they are pretty tuned into a lot of things, so that definitely lends to its credibility. I can't put this one super, super high, though, because it is a single source. If I can corroborate this with another source, then we'll bump it up. But as it stands right now, this one also right about 60% likely that it's going to happen. And then our final piece of nerd rumor has to do with Frasier. That's right. It's a little bit of an older nerd kind of thing. Not older as in time-wise, but older as in age-wise. Old nerds, like myself, and hopefully many of you, loved the show Frasier because it was so intelligent, because it was honestly one of the best written shows on television ever. And now there is rumor that we will be seeing at Paramount Plus, which if you've been keeping notes, you will remember that Paramount Plus is the new face of CBS All Access. As of March, that's when it becomes Paramount Plus. I don't have details. We're not talking about that specifically, but Paramount Plus is going to be doing a revival of the series. Now, the rumor does not go into specifics as to what they mean by revival. Is it just going to be a single catch-up episode? Is it going to be a mini-series, kind of like we got with the Gilmore Girls on Netflix? Is it going to be something a little bit more involved? None of this has been specified, but all has been speculated. So we know that these talks have been in the process for a long time, so it would not surprise me if this happens. It does sound like if the things are going the way they're supposed to be going, because this comes from a couple of different sources, that Kelsey Grammer is one of the big holdouts, not because he doesn't want to do it, but because he wants more money than it sounds like they're willing to pay him. So there's a lot of kind of variables here, though it does seem pretty awesome. We're going to bump this one just a little bit over the edge because, again, even though it does have multiple sources, they're not the best of sources. So we're going to say about 55% likelihood that we will be seeing some sort of revival of the Frasier series. And that is all we have for rumors. And that does it for this episode of Nerd News Headlines. For more in-depth conversation on the nerd news, or if you just want to get into some music or photography or Comic-Con or interviewing celebrities or whatever you want to do that is generally nerdy, you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, generally nerdy. Or while you're here on the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on any and all. Be sure specifically to be subscribed on the YouTube channel because we are giving away PlayStation 5 once we hit 1,000 subscriptions. So thank you very much, nerds. Don't forget to tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world.